I want to bring in Jennifer Coffindaffer next. She's a former FBI special agent with 28 years in federal law enforcement, and she knows every inch of this case. Okay, you're the official now. Can you help me sort through the messaging? And let me just remind you of the four things. The black SUV, never heard anything about the black SUV. The timeline, do you have the timeline solved or do you not have the timeline solved? Not updating you on that. The door was open. That's news to me, says the chief. And the scream. Nobody seems to be answering the fact that a neighbor says he may have heard a scream at exactly 4 a.m. Help me figure out why this stuff isn't as important as I feel it is.
Ashleigh, this information is very important, but law enforcement is ferreting through all of these leads, all of these tips. They did their initial canvas, right? And the people who did that information or got that information pulled together, that is going to a command post setting. That information then is being distributed to the case agent from the FBI and to the lead detective from Moscow, as well as ISP. Those are the people that have the answers to these questions. From there, it's funneled out, and the chief of police has been the spokesman in this case. So I think there's some communications that may be lacking. And the other thing, Ashleigh, for instance, with the neighbor, they canvassed, they talked to him, they did a full interview, and now he's coming out with these additional details. As you pointed out, those details don't match up with what he wrote. So my belief would be that those agents believe his initial interview is what was accurate.
So what about the black SUV? He says there was an unusual luxury black SUV that was parked, you know, just a few stalls away, literally like within the stone's throw to the entrance of the home in that adjacent parking lot. To have the police say we are not aware of any reports of an SUV. Well, did you read the newspaper this morning? I think that frustrates me because he says he told the police that morning. It is in black and white on the front page of the Idaho Statesman that he reports there's a black SUV. And yet all they've done is release that there's a curious white, you know, Hyundai Elantra out there. Why not mention something about information pertaining to a black SUV? Why not put that APB out there?
Well, I would believe that what happened is he didn't give that information initially. He has now given that information. And I would believe the FBI and state police and Moscow PD have looked at that, maybe had already identified this SUV and have cleared it. The car that can't clear is the Elantra, and that's why they're focused on that and not this black SUV.
Jennifer, if that's the case, that's legitimate. Why would they answer us officially in an email, we are not aware of any black SUV? I mean, it just seems so dismissive to what could be a critical detail. They're asking the public for every small detail they could possibly get. And here's a guy who says he said it to the police. He said it to the Idaho Statesman. It's been literally in print since the Idaho Statesman actually released it online, I would guess at midnight last night, but certainly it'd land on their desk in the morning. It would seem to me that they should take that more seriously.
You know, I truly believe there is a huge communication gap and error, and just the Moscow PD not handling the communication like they should be. And listen, this has the FBI's footprint all over it. The FBI isn't even going to talk, isn't even going to answer a question, isn't going to send out an email. So certainly the FBI is trying to keep all the information encapsulated, yet they want to have some information go out. So Moscow has been put at the point. But possibly Moscow, the chief, doesn't even have those particulars yet. Because again, Ashleigh, there's this chain of custody, if you will, or chain of information that's going up. And I think that the people at the top of that chain then aren't releasing first, and then secondarily, they're trying to release a little bit, and the communication is just completely lost in that process.
One last quick question. I've only got about 30 seconds left, and that is the occupants of the white Hyundai. That was the wording that was used. We're looking to talk to the occupants of the white Hyundai. They're not asking for the owner. They're not asking for the driver. They're asking for the occupants. Is there something I need to read into that language?
Yes, I think so. That really stood out to me too, Ashley. And that's that the information they have related to this vehicle is that there were occupants inside of it. And that is probably coming from an interview, possibly backed up from camera footage, but certainly that is a key piece of information that they put out with that particular precise language. It's important.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.